Welcome to Every Coach Needs a Coach, the podcast for coaches of all sports and all age groups to learn from coaches and people they may otherwise never have the chance to meet. Obstacles exist to see how bad we want it. When I was taking organic chemistry in college, it was very clear that that is what they call a weed out class. Anyone who wants to be a physician or a healthcare provider typically has to take organic chemistry. As a physical therapist, there have been exactly 0 times that I have used the material that I learned in organic chemistry. There have been plenty of times that I've used the principles that I've learned in organic chemistry, mostly the principle of resiliency. Because most people drop out of organic chemistry after they get their first 40 on an exam. It's freshman year of college. Most of us got good grades as students in high school. You get that first 40. I think my lowest grade might have been a 36 on an organic exam. And it's tough to continue after that. It's tough to put your head down and say, okay, I got to bounce back from this. I got to somehow get a C in this class. If I want to be a physical therapist, if I want to be a dentist, if I want to be a podiatrist, if I want to be a physician, I have to pass this to get through this. Those who make it through the first semester of organic then have to go take a second semester of organic. And those who make it through that typically go on to graduate. They have 2 or 3 other years of college. They go on to graduate with their degree. They typically go to their professional school or their graduate school that they want to go to. Then once they're in graduate school, there's another set of weed out classes. And it's designed for 2 reasons. The first is because, yes, the information is relevant to the profession at that time, and it's important to be learned and understood. The second is that if you can't pass that class, you probably can't handle patient care. And you're probably not cut out for that profession. So I heard it said once that the walls are put up to see who's willing to bust through them or climb over them or dig underneath them or run around them. And that's what obstacles are. So this relates to coaching because I start our freshman meetings and I tell them, first of all, high school sports are 5 to 6 days a week for 2 to 2.5 hours at a time. Right away, some kids are like, ooh, this is not for me. That's an obstacle. That's a wall that those kids are not going to push through or around or over. And that's fine. Because then if they do push through that wall, if they do say, hey, I'm going to commit to that 5, 6 days a week for 2.5 hours. Okay. That's the next set of kids who's going to be cut out to be a Caldwell girls soccer player. Then my next obstacle is I tell them what the expectations are on our fitness test. I meet with them in June. I say, hey, in August, we got to be able to run a mile. We have to be able to complete between 7 to 10 man U's. We have to be able to do a 40-yard dash in 5 seconds, whatever the expectations are. And some kids hear that and they go, whoa, that is not for me. I don't want to do that. I never wanted to do that. I just want to play soccer. And soccer is a running game. The average player runs 6 miles in a soccer game. So I don't run them for the sake of running them. I run them to meet the demands of the game we're playing. And that is another way to ensure that we get the right people in our program who eventually get to put on a jersey. And I'm sure you have your own version of those. So my challenge for you is to verbalize that to your players and be transparent and let them know, like, I'm just doing this to make sure we get the right people here. It's completely fine if you can't or won't or don't want to do that. For the sake of the program, for the sake of the players willing to climb that wall and bust through that wall, I need to make sure we have the right people in the right places. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Keep getting better every day.